Hello, Virgo. Welcome in. Welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a bonus psychic tarot reading for you because Virgos continue to have some of the highest viewership. So I'm going to continue to send you out readings. All right, let's get you a good reading here. What's the overall energy of today's reading? What do the Virgos who are here need to know? What information? Thank you. What's hidden from Virgo that would be helpful? Thank you. Outcome and advice. Outcome and advice for the Virgos who are here. What would be the most helpful information? Thank you. All right, let's turn these cards over. See what we're working with here. Okay, I'm taking them how they fell, how they landed. So in the overall energy, we have the Ten of Cups in reverse. Wow, with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse coming out as a challenge to this energy. All right, so the Ten of Cups upright, for me, these people are in the real world. They've gone through all of the 10 cups of emotions, of experiences in this reality. The highs, the lows, the in-betweens, joy, love, care, celebration, disappointment, upset, betrayal, harm, hurt, woundedness, like all the experiences. And they're choosing to be happy anyway, despite what they've gone through. Ten of Cups in reverse feels like overwhelm, emotional overwhelm. Feels like not getting your happily ever after, not getting your dreams. There feels like emotional overwhelm, disappointment. So the emotions, the disappointment is making it difficult to enjoy reality. Okay. Ten of Pentacles in reverse coming out as a challenge to this energy. They're both tens, end of a cycle. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Let's start with 10 Pentacles upright. Feels like a legacy, something you'll work towards for the rest of your life. You might not achieve the 10 Pentacles, but it's a lot of wealth, abundance, stability, security, whatever in the 3D, tangible, real. In reverse, there's a lack of stability, a lack of abundance. Feels like Ten of Pentacles in reverse in this feels like it's not real. There's something, it's not, and that's why you can't create it. It's a challenge to create something. It feels like you wanted to create something. You wanted it to be your happily ever after, is what I'm gathering. And it feels like there's something, a fantasy, something that you wanted to be real, tangible, a dream of yours. And it feels like that dream didn't come true. And how to let something, fantasy, something that you've really wanted, how to let it go so something better can come through, instead of holding on to what didn't work. Something like that is what I'm getting, Virgo. Something very disappointing. Something that you've spent a lot of time and effort trying to make happen to bring what you want into this reality. And it feels like there's been a loss. And wow. Ten of Cups in reverse, clarified by the Ten of Cups in reverse. A lot of emotional disappointment, overwhelm. Nice. The Ten of Pentacles also came out in the first clarifying, but this time upright. I am getting that you can have your Ten of Pentacles. It's whatever you've been working on did not work out, collapsed. It feels like it's being done for you. And it is disappointing. But it looks like with the Fool card reversed that you were repeating cycles. You were stuck in something that wasn't going to give you what you wanted. Whatever this big dream is that you have, Virgo, that you want to touch, taste, squeeze, feel in reality and be real. And so what I'm seeing is I get the feeling you've been asking in a very strong way for whatever this reality is to be real. And because of your desire for it to be real, that whatever was false was not what you wanted, needed to collapse, needed to end so you can really have what you're wanting. But it feels like you might be so focused on the disappointment from this past upset, what's left, what didn't work out, instead of focusing on creating what you really prefer, recognizing that the ending of whatever this is that's been very upsetting was done for you. So you could have what you want, so you can get to work in the 3D and start creating and pulling out of fantasy into reality what you really prefer. There's something about how you're perceiving yourself and a woundedness that feels like it's gumming up the works here, Virgo, slowing things down. Not that there's any rush, but with the Moon card in reverse and Ten of Cups in reverse twice, that feels like a lot of emotional overwhelm, upset. So the first thing I do when I feel overwhelmed in my emotions, like this is too much, it literally is too much. That is ding, 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 an indicator that someone else's energy is in your space and you're trying to process someone else's emotions. The best way to start, where I start with emotional overwhelm, is creating energetic separations, clearing everybody's energy out of my space and finding my own energy. That might look like taking time to yourself, Epsom salt bath, literally getting everybody's energy out of your space and finding your own energy, not thinking about others, thinking about yourself, caring about yourself, focusing on self. And sitting with the uncomfortable emotions. It feels like there's something at the heart of this. Something how you're perceiving yourself that's at the root of all of this. No matter the upset that you might be perceiving is outside of you, it's helping you shift a very important picture, something how I'm getting to kind of the root, seeing if we can find this in your heart space. There's something here you can have so much more is what I'm getting. There's something about how you're perceiving yourself. Let's see if we can get any closer with the cards. Is there something specifically that the Virgos who are here are working on in their heart space that would help them understand what's happening? There's a need for you to reimagine yourself in your life after disappointing delusion, something that did not end up being what you thought it was going to be, what you hoped, what you wanted so bad for something to be. Feels like there was a huge disappointment. Feels like the very person who you've had a shared dream, fantasy about that would create your happily ever after was the very person that you had to protect yourself from at the end. And there's an exhaustion here, maybe an enmeshed type of relationship. So what I'm gathering, it feels like there's a need to reimagine yourself and your life. That to allow that old dream, it takes some time to let that old fantasy dream that's not going to be realized, to feel the feelings, feel the disappointment, feel the upset. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve all the lost yous that you imagined you were going to have, all the future timelines that you envisioned yourself. It takes some time to grieve that. And you don't want to blame anyone else and get rid of your emotions. They're your emotions to process through the grief and upset. Nine of Cups in reverse. It also feels like there's just a lot of unhappiness, a lot of disappointment, centering others in your experience. And so it looks like you're figuring that out, healing from those wounds, so you can have a real Ten of Pentacles, something real, tangible in this reality. With the Moon card in reverse and 2 Ten of Cups in reverse, it feels like there's just a lot of emotions to process through. All right, let's look at what's hidden. We have the Ace of Cups and the Seven of Wands. Ace of Cups is my card for self-love. Not in any mamby-pamby sort of way, but being in flow state, loving yourself, not giving from an empty cup. Healthy loving yourself is learning boundaries. And that can be very uncomfortable if you've been enmeshed with others. Then it's terrifying. When I first started exercising my boundaries, no is a complete sentence. I don't need to make you okay and comfortable with my no. And being able to stand up for myself and maintain those boundaries when I first started was terrifying. Terrifying. I literally shaking when I did it. But I recognized it was important and I kept doing it. So self-love sometimes feels good, but sometimes it's because you love yourself and you're making the choices that you want to make. What might help is if you can remove yourself a bit, if this is you, Virgo, and kind of see yourself from above and see yourself as a character in a story, in a movie, in a book. And what do you want that character to do? What do you want to see them do? They've been through something very upsetting, very disappointing. What are you wanting them to learn about this and become that? It feels like sometimes that might help you kind of separate out. Sometimes it might be very overwhelming to be you, and learning how to love all aspects, all parts of yourself, not giving too much. All right, let's see what else comes through around the Ace of Cups. Why is the Ace of Cups in what's hidden? Judgment. Seven of Pentacles coming out as a challenge to that card. So, awakening. It feels like you might have awoken from inside of a connection, inside of what you were thinking you were building your happily ever after. But it looks like you woke up, realizing that that's too small of a life. There's something much bigger that you were meant to be. I've got that George Michael. God, that's the second time. I think just this week there's another song with Freedom. George Michael. The parts where he's singing, talking, kind of. You'll have to see if the lyrics mean something to you. They're just running through my head so quickly. It looks like you, in what's hidden, is you woke up and realized that this is too small of a reality. It's not big enough of a role. You keep repeating cycles. It's too small. There's no joy. It's not what you thought it was. It doesn't matter. You focused so much of your time, your attention on whatever this is that didn't turn out the way you expected it to. And it looks like your challenge is to pull your energy from that and focus on you, what you want next. Pulling your attention from this past situation has really got your attention. There's something that you're being called to, something much bigger, much more in alignment. And it is a challenge to stop focusing on the disappointment of how this past thing did not turn out. Why is the Seven of Wands in what's hidden? What does Virgo need to know about the Seven of Wands? Six of Pentacles. Healthy boundaries. Okay, in what's hidden, it looks like you're learning who and what to invest in. And there's also reciprocity here. It feels like what I'm seeing is overgiving and a need to love yourself and create healthy boundaries, and reciprocity where you're not giving everything to someone, to an environment. This feels much more balanced in what's hidden. Much more balanced, much more self-loving, recognizing you're not a support character, that you're the whole meal deal. I don't know why. Da-da-da-da-da. I don't know why McDonald's came in to the reading, but I'm loving it. Okay. I think you feel a lot better. In what's hidden, there's more balance. Loving yourself, having healthy boundaries, not overgiving, but having reciprocity, which is a practice. Reciprocity is a practice. If you are used to overgiving and then having an unconscious agreement with the people that you give, that eventually you'll want a return on that investment. Instead, just investing a little bit in someone and waiting and seeing if they can reciprocate. And if they don't reciprocate, if they can't, then that's information. And it feels like you're, instead of keep pouring into someone who can't reciprocate, just recognizing, oh, they can't reciprocate, and adjusting, making changes. Anything else that Virgo needs to know? Hi. Hi, boo-boo. Hi, girl. I got a boo-boo flyby. It's my gold parakeet there. She's right there. Anything else? I think boo-boo flyby is good. All right, in the outcome and advice, Virgo, we have 8 of Cups. Emotional attachment. It's hard to walk away from that story, from an old story, an old way that you wanted things done. You wanted something to work out. Now both of them. Yay! Boo Boo and JJ. Oh, here we go again. That was JJ. That's Boo Boo. Ah, JJ again. You guys, thank you. Oh my goodness. That's so sweet. I know. So many flybys. I get the feeling that once you let go of these emotional attachments, and it takes time, love yourself through it, feel your feelings. Don't blame others for the emotions you have. You want to own your emotions, they're yours. If you give your emotions away to others, I am feeling this hurt, and that person's responsible, that person, for this hurt, then you're also giving away the healing. Those people are responsible for healing that within me, which gives your power away to other people. If you've been hurt, you're hurting, your emotions are yours to work through. Your woundedness, to feel, to process through, to own those emotions. It's JJ. And then on the other side, then once you feel your emotions, they're your emotions. Instead of blaming others and disempowering yourself, needing others to fix those hurts too. Feels like you're figuring this out, figuring out your own emotions, creating healthy boundaries as a result of the experiences you've gone through, making changes in how you show up, and who you invest in, who you spend time around. It feels smart. Oh my goodness. So many flybys. Again! Yay! Oh my gosh. I get the feeling that once you let go of these really tough emotions, and I am not saying that this wasn't a difficult experience or experiences. It feels like once you process through these emotions, there's a lightness that comes through. By processing through those emotions and sitting with the discomfort, and it's okay to feel this discomfort. It's okay to feel these emotions. Then on the other side of processing through those emotions, you get wisdom. You can't teach wisdom. Wisdom that will tell you who and what, and going forward, help lead yourself into a much happier, joyful, lots of energy type of experience. I think I'm just going to stop there. The birds have convinced me. There's also something about just setting yourself free of whatever story of and letting that die down so you can have something much more freeing and joyful. So I hope that's helpful, Virgo. Thank you all so much for being here. What a fun co-creative reading. All right, take care.